sauce.
Sur le parvis on bouffe que les miettes, laissant le peu qui nous reste. Ouais, la forme n'est plus aussi brève depuis que l'État a mis des barrières, sonnant l'alerte, le peuple est vaincu. Ouais, faut dire qu'on l'avait vu venir, c'est pas comme si qu'on m'avait prévenu. Pas voter pour un gosse de riche, on s'en fout, on taffe, on se saigne. Le prochain de toute façon sera pareil, donc à quoi sert de se manifester? Les circonstances resteront les mêmes. Levons-nous, stoppons tout, mais la police tabasse la foule. Mettez-vous à genoux quand Macron s'adresse à la foule. Dénigrant le peuple moyen, trimant dur, on trouve ça normal de payer sans jamais respirer. Écoutant un mec qui s'aime pas, qu'est-ce qu'on attend pour foutre le feu? Dans les rues, reprendre ce qui nous est dû. Nos critères, nos bases, nos valeurs. Prisonniers sous leur dictature, la liberté n'a pas disparu. Non, elle attend qu'on l'appelle. On décide de porter nos burnes pour enfin niquer le système. Trop d'erreurs qu'il faut éviter afin de plus jamais revivre ça. De subir ce à l'Élysée qui ne voit que financer pouvoir. Constamment, on nous prend pour des cons, déversant des belles paroles. À chaque fois, on tombe dans le panneau car ils s'en foutent de nos vies en vrai. Taxant tout ce qu'ils peuvent avoir, sans remords qui t'a te foutent à poil. En faisant passer des décrets qui te mèneront à ta pierre tombale. Mensonges, brigands, tyrans, menteurs, voyous, voleurs. Voici notre époque, ouais. Sanctions, révolte, violence, pilleurs, fachos, branleurs. Voici notre époque, ouais. Promesses, chômage, argent, chantage, pouvoir, puissance. Voici notre époque, ouais. Magouille, escroc, profit, excès, bavure, expier. Voici notre époque. La jeunesse se sent attardée, comme une bombe qu'on a retardée, retentant de vouloir rattraper tout un système qui a déjà éclaté. L'heure est grave, sens-tu la soumission pénétrer doucement dans ton fion. Et pour stopper toute revendication, le masque comme punition. Prête à tout pour mieux estorquer la populace, ça évoque la peur. Consommer jusqu'à épuisement, de toute façon la planète se meurt. Visant la lune pour nous adoucir, mais la rage en nous s'endurcit. Le bien-être en France est en sursis, exposé par quelques pourris. Font du fric à travers les gens, mais tout est carré, bien calé. Riant de ceux qui meurent car le pouvoir les a enivrés. Salivant sur chaque élection, ressortant toujours la même chanson. Blablabla pour descendre la pression afin de mieux lancer le bâton. Confond pas ceux qui prêchent le faux, ceux qui le disent à la télé. T'abattront même s'il faut car l'essentiel est de grimper. Demande à Coluche qui est sous terre ce qu'ils sont et jusqu'où ces types seraient prêts à aller juste pour défendre leur intérêt. Mensonges, brigands, tyrans, menteurs, voyous, voleurs. Voici notre époque, ouais. Sanctions, révolte, violence, pilleurs, fachos, branleurs. Voici notre époque, ouais. Promesses, chômage, argent, chantage, pouvoir, puissance. Voici notre époque, ouais. Magouille, escroc, profit, excès, bavure, expier. Voici notre époque, ouais. Ça étouffe le peuple en silence pendant que ça vote des lois au Sénat, défendant tous les appels d'offres, nous faisant croire que c'est inévitable. Attention, les pourris sont sortis, car à ceux qui marchent pas droit, la justice sera te punir si tu t'opposes aux règles de l'État. Tout est contrôlé au millimètre près, surveillant chacun de tes pas, ouais, constatant que rien n'a bougé. De toute manière, ça va changer quoi? Allons enfants de la patrie, le jour de gloire est arrivé. Il est temps de partir en guerre afin de reprendre nos dignités. Comme des moutons, l'espoir s'envole. Que des belles paroles, à bout de souffle, les esprits surchauffent. Sur les routes, on en a ras-le-bol. La coupe est pleine, ouais, dégagez de là. Non, cette terre n'est pas la vôtre, surtout pas une poignée d'escrocs bourrés de démagos. Donc on court après des mirages, enfermés sous certains virages, espérant de tourner la page malgré les scènes marquées au visage. De toute façon, la marche est lancée, le peuple gronde, on en a assez. Il est temps une bonne fois pour toutes de mettre un terme à tout leur excès. Mensonges, brigands, tyrans, menteurs, voyous, voleurs. Voici notre époque, ouais. Sanctions, révolte, violence, pilleurs, fachos, branleurs. Voici notre époque, ouais. Promesses, chômage, argent, chantage, pouvoir, puissance. Voici notre époque, ouais. Magouille, escroc, profit, excès.
Whoa. Welcome to the Slop. Nader, man, how you doing, dude? How you
Good.
living?
How are you?
Living. I'm surviving. Wait, what was that, like trap music? Okay, let me shut that off too. Okay, welcome. GM in the chat. I think I already GM'd, but I'm gonna GM again. Yeah, welcome. So you had a kind of journey through Ethereum and onto more like AI stuff. And this is kind of like a show about the cross section of a little bit of crypto, a little bit of AI. Maybe it's more like we're talking about cool AI stuff and hoping to pill a few people on crypto along the way kind of thing. Like this whole Slop.Computer is eventually going to be like a platform you can spin
This
up
is a really
yourself.
cool platform, by the way. Like it's just a lot of fun, you know.
It's
Heck
just
yeah, man.
yeah, it's just very engaging. It's like good for it's good for people that have like ADD.
Yeah, well,
It's
or
good for
bad.
like
Because I'm
uh,
always moving stuff around. Like when people are talking and I'm like, should be paying attention to what they're saying. I'm like moving stuff and dinking around with the platform.
yeah, I like it.
Cool, man. Well, it's great to have you here. You started, like, I knew about you maybe like AWS era, and then like you came through ETH, I think maybe like Aave and Eigen, if I remember
Right.
correctly. You've worked at some big places doing developer growth, and developer growth is like definitely near and dear to my heart. Is that what you're doing now at Cognition, is also like a similar developer growth role?
Yeah, I mean, the title that I have is not so clear. I don't even have a title actually. I'm just on the growth team. So I do
Okay.
growth, and that is developer growth. It's essentially, content. I'm helping with the marketing. I'm helping with the ambassador program in the community, events, onboarding startups. Like, it's pretty crazy. I'm doing a million things, but yeah, it's kind of the same general like genre of things that I've been doing for the last, I guess, 8 years of my career now. So
But also building, like, you are a good builder and you're good at like experimenting and finding the edge of things to build. I don't even know what the word for it is. Like figuring out what the new tech is going to be and going and experimenting with it and building things.
yes, it's a lot of fun, and I'm always kind of and now with AI, it's just making it, like if you have this itch, it just like makes you go crazy on it. It's because you can do everything that you wanted to do. Like you could have done everything for the most part, right? We wanted to do before, but we just didn't have the time.
It took so
Because
much
like
work.
if you want to focus on one project, it used to take months to build. Now we can build a project in a couple of hours. Like a real, when I say a project, you can obviously build Slop in like 5 minutes, but you can actually ship something in a couple of hours now. It's crazy. Like I had an idea for an app, and it required, a database, and it required authentication, and it required identity and all these things, right? And you have to go and set all the stuff up, but I had it up and running in a couple of hours. Like it's just crazy.
It's so fun doing DevOps. I talk about this a lot, but like I always figured like I would do DevOps and my agent would do the building. And then one day it was just like, oh, I'll set that up for you. And it was like, oh, that's so much easier. You can just like set up the database and take care of everything for me. It's so cool.
It is. It's so much fun.
So okay, so yeah, let's get into your stack. That's usually what I like to talk about, is like what your stack is, what your superpower is, what your tooling is. Like, are you a Claude Code guy? Or are you a Codex guy? Which way do you lean?
Yeah, so I mean, I kind of use a lot of different things. And in terms of like the tech stack, I used to say, oh, I'm a TypeScript guy and I'm a Python or whatever, like, right? But now it doesn't matter, honestly, right?
Yeah, it doesn't. Like, yeah, I never used to write Python, and now my bot writes Python all the time. I'm like, okay, sweet, let's go.
Yeah, so I'm just shipping code. Now,
Yep.
what LLMs do I use and what tools do I use? Well, I would say that I'm kind of like experimenting with this kind of like orchestration model where you kind of have like a really intelligent orchestrator and a quick or inexpensive executor. And I pretty much have unlimited tokens, like because I work at an AI company. So, but that doesn't mean I'm like wasteful or anything. But so like if I'm doing something like really serious, I just use Fable, or I use Opus 4.8. Actually, lately I've been using Fable, or I use GPT 5.6 lately. I guess Soul. If I'm doing something quick, I use SWE 1.7 because it's like 1,000 tokens per second. It's our model at Cognition.
Oh, it's a Cognition model. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so like for deep intelligence, I use the frontier models. For speed, I use SW 1.7. For my tooling, I mean, I obviously work at Cognition, so I'm using Devin for everything. But I still kick the tires, and I have Cursor, and I have Claude, and I have Codex subscriptions because I want to keep up with what they're doing, because they're kind of, I would say, our competitors. And I can always learn from other people what they're doing. So I kind of am all over the place, but I would say like 95% of my work is in Devin. The large majority is using frontier models. I would say I'm split about 50-50 in local and cloud agents. So I kind of like prototype and experiment locally, and then once I've shipped something, it's in the cloud, and then I'm just iterating it on it in the cloud. Yeah.
So it's SW. So SW stands for like software engineer. Is that
Yeah,
what
it's kind of like a model trained specifically for software engineering.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you got into Devin too, and I wanted to kind of hit on that. So Devin is like a harness. Then I thought it was like an agent. It's a harness.
It's kind of it's a combination of a bunch of things. So we have our local agent, which is essentially just a harness that works with our desktop application, which is supports ACP, and then ACP enables Devin local harness through the CLI kind of, and then you can use any agent actually with the Devin desktop. So I also kick the tires with other agents as well. And then the cloud agent is more of like a software engineering platform. Yes, it has a harness, but it also has all these other things. So that's the general idea.
Okay, you said you get infinite tokens. How just because you work at a AI company, you get it? How does that work? Like, I want infinite tokens. You guys just have deals?
I mean, no, I mean, because, we have subscription to Devin, like as an employee.
It's like your internal product. Of course you do.
Yeah. And we have Opus and we have Fable as options. So, but yeah, I mean, again, I'm not one of those people that's tokening.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of don't like that. I kind of think it doesn't make sense, I spent $1 million in tokens. Okay, well, what do you have to show for that?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm more like productivity maxing, and sometimes that means I'm like running an hour of Fable, but sometimes that means I'm just like doing this really, really surgical update, and it's really cheap.
So Cognition builds a handful of AI products. Devin is their harness-like thing, and inside of Devin, you can choose Fable, or inside of Cognition, you can choose Fable. I'm still getting a lay of the land.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess when you look at like Claude Code and all that, like Claude offers you the Anthropic and Claude suite of models. When you're using Codex, you have like, the Codex or I would say OpenAI models. With Cognition, we essentially offer like every model. So we offer Anthropic models, we offer OpenAI models, but we also offer GLM and Chemi-K 2.7 and DeepSeek, and then we have our own model, SW 1.7. And our like approach and our thoughts are like models are just going to become more specialized, more diverse, and better. And we want to support everything. Like, we want to make sure that if something new comes out, you have access to it, because as things become more specialized, you can build out more, you can build out smarter routing capabilities, because if you have a router that only is allowed to use like 2 models, then you're kind of not getting the full capability of what's out there. But if you have a router that can touch a PDF specialized train on parsing PDFs when you need that, and it's specialized on software engineering when you need that, and it's specialized on general purpose like if you have a smart router that has access to everything, then that's kind of the ultimate like goal of a really high quality harness, right? In my opinion, and I think that's our general take. And I think like if you're a company building an LLM and you only allow people to use your LLM, you're kind of like not giving access to what everything that's out there. So that's our approach, and I think like a lot of people like that, but it's not maybe for everyone, I would say. So
yeah, no, that makes sense. And I love the open source models. Like being able to dink around with open source models feels like, I don't know, it feels like more cypherpunk and more magic. And I'm building an app that uses like a local model on my phone, and it's like dumb, but it's like quick, and like when
so
your
fast,
phone,
probably, right?
yeah,
And it's free.
Yeah. It's free, it's fast, it's dumb, but it's like it's coming. Like this is going to be way better in a year. It's going to like not catch up with probably frontier models at the time, but maybe the model that runs on my phone now will be as smart as Fable is now or Opus is now. I hope. We'll see. But
I mean, that's just cool. How things have happened, and why would we expect it not to continue that way? So you're right.
I hope it does. We'll see what happens. I hope so. AI is having this like huge centralizing force, right? As I'm doing all these slop computers, I'm talking to a lot of AI people, and I'm learning a lot more about. And a lot of the folks that I have on here are like AI cypherpunks, so it's kind of a different mix, but hugely centralizing. Open source models are exciting, but they're just not as good. And it's just a part of the thing. Like the frontier models are just going to be better, and it's just going to be how it works. But hopefully these open source models catch up. To change gears back to something you said earlier, this is like one of the tensions that I get from talking to a lot of slopperators is it's the meme of like I'm running 100 agents and I'm token maxing and I'm building on and I'm building my own harness and all of this stuff, and then it's like, well, what are you producing? This is like a really great insight of just like what the actual output is. You want to talk about that more? You basically already talked about it, but like this is like one of the major themes of Slop.Computer so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things I've noticed because I'm working at a company that does this, it's like when you're talking to customers, and they're essentially like a CTO of a company, their challenge now is kind of like striking that balance because they want their engineers to have access to these things, but they also want to make sure that they're being productive with them because the token spending can really get out of control. Like I think I saw someone that tweeted about a single session running and costing them like $20,000, right? Like there's crazy things happening out there. And, if you just give your engineers a completely open like token budget and you don't know where things are going, you might like look up and you have like a $10 million bill at the end of the month, but what did the outcome of that be? So I think like what you're now seeing, at least with us and with some companies, is a focus around output or productivity or ROI, and therefore you kind of have like more intelligence around tracing and where these sessions are happening and who they're attributed to and what they're attributed to. So with us, we provide like a dashboard that shows 10% went to pull requests, 15% went to, I don't know, like bug fixes, and 25% went to data analysis, and like 20% went to new features. I don't know, like, you have a clear understanding of what's going on. But like if you're running the sessions locally, it's kind of harder to understand like where those sessions are happening because you might just be doing some crazy loop and it's just like running and like all that. But yeah, I mean that seems to be a big focus right now across the entire industry because token usage just keeps on going up, and there needs to be some way to kind of rein that in and allow like the best trade-off between productivity and spend. So.
And you tapped on loops. I feel like loops were hot for a while. I don't know if loops are still hot, but you also said it sucks that people are burning so many tokens. How do you feel about loops? Like what's your take on loops?
Yeah, loops are interesting, and I think like loops are a lot simpler than people would like to make them out to be on Twitter, because like you can basically say, go fix this task and then run a test to make sure that it works in the browser. And if it doesn't work, go and fix the update and then test it again. That's kind of a loop. And you can create a million of these loops in natural language. Like you don't have to go and build some like crazy system around it. And those are the most efficient loops. So I think like, to get started with looping, it's more around like prompt engineering because the best harnesses will allow you to prompt a loop, right? You can like lay out like a list of tasks to do, and at the end of the last task, do some type of check. And it's just like writing a loop in code, right? You have like a list of things that happen while this is true, like do this, right? It's just like that, but in natural language. So yeah, I mean, loops are interesting. I think what's more interesting though are automations, because like when you have an automation, you can have a clearly defined task and outcome, and you can run it on a very, very well-defined schedule, and that you're going to actually get a result based on that. And it's not just out there running like in the wild. It's going to run every morning or every, once a week. And you're going to have this artifact that is a result of that automation. And I think automations allow engineering teams to really, really focus, or even developers to really focus on building and innovating new things and not going and maintaining old things. So if I have like an app that's running, what I might do in the past was like check every month to make sure my NPM dependencies are up to date. Make sure that there's no like issues that have been open on my repo that need to be fixed. Like there's these things that you do that are almost like DevOps or SRE style, maintenance that you do. All of that can be automated now, right? Like you can run an automation that says, look at my package, JSON every month and fix and upgrade all my dependencies and make sure the app still works. That's an automation that you can fix, that you can set up once, and that relieves an hour of your month. Now start stacking all those hours on top of each other for a production application. When a bug is, when like Sentry detects a crash or a bug, how can you route that alert to an agent to go and make a fix and submit a pull request and review the pull request? So when you wake up and go to work, all you have to do is review the pull request and click merge, and then you can go and actually build some cool stuff. So that's, to me, that's like truly where the value is. I think if you're like someone that's building crazy dev tooling like around agents, and you want to create crazy like you might be doing the crazy looping type of stuff. Like if you're Peter Steinberger building like crazy stuff in OpenAI. But I think for the average developer, the loops are more around pragmatic, like prompt engineering, and then automations. Yeah.
We had Fukuri on here who builds Smithers, and he talked about loops. And basically he said that like a lot of people out there build like over engineer their loops, and they don't actually like just compare it to a Ralph loop. And if like usually a Ralph loop will beat their, fancy building. But I think, yeah, I like moving this over to like a schedule instead of a loop. And a loop is just like, build this and evaluate it like this. And if it's not there, go back and start again with a clean context and try again. So yes, it's not that complicated.
and honestly, like the best harnesses can manage a loop in natural language.
They do it anyways.
Yeah. So I mean, like I think loops are just going to be eaten up by harnesses, by good harnesses and prompt engineering. We're back to square one.
And that keeps happening. Like good harnesses keep eating a lot of things. There was a ton of stuff you had to do to get Sonnet 4.3 or whatever to build things without saying you're absolutely right 100 times to you. But now it's just like, nah, I think at a whole higher level of abstraction and just like one shot the thing and it goes. You talked about schedules, and I think I do a lot of scheduling also. And I would say that my scheduling is pretty good. It's kind of weird to have non-deterministic schedules that run though, right? Because there is still like this brain that has to like think about some things. But with the right guardrails, it does feel like magic when you have like, again, you wake up to a PR that's all done. Imagine like 100 PRs that are all done. And then you need like another agent on top of them to read all the PRs and figure out which ones to merge or something like that. This is probably what Peter Steinberg
some people are like building GitHub actions that auto merge certain PRs. So like some of this, you don't even have to have a human to review, right? I think like for a subset of tasks, that is also the case. So I think like the layers are trigger. The trigger kicks off an agent session. The session creates the pull request. The review agent does the review, and then you have another maybe layer of security, like security agent that goes and like make sure that the review agent. I mean, like that sounds crazy, but when you think about human hours, this is actually very efficient. And then you have like a set of credentials or criteria that can auto merge, and then you now like you've done 80% of your work completely automated. The other 20% of like this maintenance type of work or DevOps type of work, you can then like have a human reviewer at the very end, and then all of your time is up to build cool new stuff. I think that's really, really like where it's at. Like, really, like imagine if like an engineer that you're paying $400K a year or something could spend all of their time like innovating and not trying to. So like I think the teams that are going to really, really do the best are the ones that are going to give their engineers the most time to innovate, to build, to create, and to solve like new problems, as opposed to just making sure things don't break. That sounds a little boring, but it's true.
No, that's good. That like boring is what gets the job done a lot of times. So let's see. We talked about loops, and then you said agents a little bit with Devin. And then there's even like entities, which are kind of like these things that are like agents that exist inline. We kind of talked about maybe GitHub and tagging. Do you use entities, or are you guys like, I think this is kind of like a new word, and I don't know if it'll even stick. Another thing that will probably be eaten by the harnesses. But like do you have like a company Slack, and the Slack, like you can tag people? We have Centaur from Georgios, but yeah, I don't know. Do you use entities at all? Any of that in your workflow?
Yeah, I mean, I would say Slack has been one of the most popular ways that people like have been using Devin for the past year or so. And we have now like an expanded version of that is essentially, so like with the current state, at least to my understanding of most of these Slack agents, is that in order for them to do work, you need to tag them, and then they are triggered, and then they start doing the work. But like when you think about a human actually is, when I join a Slack channel, I'm like reading the messages, and then I'm like, oh, this is when I need to jump in and do something. So that's kind of that's like the state of the art, is when you invite an agent to live in your Slack
just
channel,
reading everything,
and they're reading everything, and then at some point they know, oh, I can solve this problem because that's what I'm configured to do. That is kind of where we currently are with most of our automations. Is like, yes, you can still tag your agent and explain to them to do something, but when you actually have an agent that lives inside of a Slack channel, they can decide when to act and act automatically. So you're now removing just another like step of human, in the loop type of stuff. So yeah, that's kind of what we're doing now. It's called, for us, we call it auto triage, because it's like the agent automatically knows when to triage stuff. But really, you can kind of like have the agent do anything. Like you might have a birthday channel, and the prompt might be, I don't know, like if someone says happy birthday, then you should go add an emoji with like fireworks or something. I mean, like, what I'm saying? It's like anything. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. It's actually really fun. So
I feel like this is a hard thing of having an agent that's like paying attention to everything, but knows when to step in and knows when to execute on something and knows when to stay back. Like I think that is very hard for an agent.
It is very hard. And for us, like the way that we are able to manage a functioning version of that is that it's highly specialized on software engineering tasks. So like I think if we tried to expand our like agent to do everything, it would be a little more challenging to know, like, how can you configure this? But I'm assuming with a good prompt per channel maybe might work. But for us, it's kind of like the most common version of this is an auto triage bot. So if you have like a Slack channel where messages are posted from humans and from automations, you might have a warning that's not so serious. And then you might have an actual like bug that's posted to that channel that says critical error /product/ ID isn't working and it's crashing. Then the agent will automatically know, oh, I'm going to jump in and
this shit's
solve
critical.
this.
Gotta go.
So that's just how it works. It's pretty cool.
So the prompt for channel, I think, is like the clear piece to me. Is if it's in the birthday channel, it's like if someone post something on top of it. If we're in the general channel all talking, you don't have to respond to everything. Probably just like if you get tagged in the general channel, you should respond.
Exactly.
And then over in the like alerts channel, if there's anything that's like high or critical, you need to attack it now. Anything that's medium, maybe you like ask us in an email or something like that.
That's right.
So something like that, where you're writing, again, like going back to plain text loops, like you're writing like a plain text algorithm of how to evaluate whether or not to jump in or not.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. Another thing, and you've already hit on this, I'm kind of changing gears again, going through, like I've done maybe like 20, 30 Slop.Computers now. So I'm kind of like, yeah, I think I had you on for product, Mark, the PMFers too, right? Did you get on PMFers, or were you maybe you were doing what should the EF do next? I did this other series.
We did a few. I don't remember exactly which ones, but yeah.
I had you in a couple, but on Slop.Computer, I'm starting to find these like commonalities. And another one is like effective versus efficient. And you want your AI to be effective first. Like it needs to freaking get the job done. Like if it's not effective, everything falls apart. But then if you're constantly running your effective AI, it gets very expensive. And I think you talked about kind of the tension between Fable and SW 1.7. And you'll maybe, I think you said you have Fable as the organizer, and then SW7 as like the implementer.
Yeah, that seems to be like a very, I would say, efficient approach in general these days. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like you're constantly measuring this. Like you probably built the first thing with something like Fable, but then it's like, okay, do we always have to use this thing to build it? So then you try to do something more efficient. Then sometimes it does something dumb and you kind of go back to effective. Like do you find yourself pulling on this tension of effective versus efficient, or do you feel like you've got it pretty well nailed down?
No, I think it's being reevaluated like all the time. And I think with the progression of models and capabilities of models and pricing of models and all these different things along with the harnesses, it's going to continue to be reevaluated. But I truly think like the general direction is around smart routing. So where you have like a high quality harness that understands like tool calling and has access to great tools and access to great models and a wide diversity of models. And then the prompt will automatically be routed and the tools will automatically call, just like a smart harness knows which tools to call, a smart router knows which LLMs to call. And you're not only calling one LLM. You're kind of like finding what is the best LLM for the best price and the best speed based on this prompt. Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, so do you guys do any like routing type stuff at Cognition, or are you using like Open Router or something like that? Or what if you have like a general purpose, like make me a short video, would that land in some kind of a triage system that tries to route it to the right model? Or
yeah, you have the choice. You have the option to choose between a variety of smart model, smart routing, smart routers, and sometimes people call them adaptive routers. But we have about 6 different adaptive routers at this point. So like our original agent was essentially a smart router, where we kind of like chose already, but it wasn't like a thing back then. I think because they launched their product like 2 years ago before any of this was like a thing. There wasn't an actual name for it, but now it's becoming more into the zeitgeist. So we have like 6 or 7 different smart routers. We have one that's called Fusion, which is essentially right now, we just kind of released an improved version yesterday where we proved that it has like Fable level intelligence at Opus level cost. We have a regular agent router that is kind of our base router where we try to pair the highest intelligence with the lowest cost with the highest capability. And then we have a fast agent router, which is the same thing, but 2.5 times faster. We have a low cost router, which is called Light Router, which is basically a lower cost version of our agent router. We have a data analysis router, which is specialized in doing analytics, and it's a lot less expensive than using the agent, and it's better at doing data analysis.
So
yeah,
like
we have a bunch of different ones, but pretty much most of our, like when you're working in the cloud, like almost all of our routers are smart router. I mean, almost all of our agents use smart routing. Locally, though, we're still offering a lot of straight direct agent capabilities. But what people are essentially doing is building their own version of a smart router with an orchestrator pattern. So they have like a skill, and I have like the skill called Lightning skill that's available on my GitHub. I haven't announced it yet because I'm still polishing it up. But what it essentially does is, because like Lightning is 1,000 tokens per second, and something like Grok Bill or the new Grok is considered fast, and it's pretty good, right? But it's around like, I believe 85 tokens per second. You can essentially say, okay, Lightning is 12 times faster. So using Lightning but having a smart orchestrator, I might be able to get Grok level capabilities at 12x speed and lower cost because I'm not using Grok for everything. So I think people are building out these cool patterns where you might use Fable as an orchestrator or 5.6 as an orchestrator, and then you do Lightning as the executor. And what you now have is like an extremely fast router, and then you have a lower cost like total token consumption.
So yeah, this theme of effective versus efficient is like everywhere, and
it's a thing.
All the decisions you're making have. Okay, so when you say, I want to jump into your GitHub next, but one quick more stop here is like when you're saying Fable cheaper than Opus, how do you go about comparing two models? Like there must be some kind of bench, but how do you do it? Yeah.
Well, we have our own eval or our own benchmark that we worked on. Actually, when Fable was released, it was actually used with Anthropic in their blog post to kind of show the capability of, it's called Frontier Code. So if you just like Google Frontier Code eval, it should be the first thing that shows up. And the way that we gauge the effectiveness of our routers, but also our own models and other people's models, is through Frontier Code. So Frontier Code is kind of like,
This messes with my ADHD so much. Just like
if you like
with this.
if you move the mouse around on it, kind of like I don't know, you saw that. Okay, cool.
It's crazy. Yeah.
But like, what ends up happening with these evals is like they become saturated. So like I think SWE bench, or I forgot the exact one, was kind of like one of the earlier ones, but when you start having like these crazy,
you start teaching to the tests.
Right? And they're like, oh, it's 99% effective. So like, what happens for the next model? So you need to make more complex, criteria for these evals and these different, I would say, frameworks for judging models. And what we have is something called, I believe, Frontier Code Diamond, which is kind of the most challenging eval or benchmark, along with other things with Frontier Code. And yeah, that's the way we evaluate. And there was actually a really nice blog post from someone at Cognition yesterday explaining exactly how they did that. And it's let me see if I can just drop this in the chat.
I think I had it up. I think it's this right here, right? Was it June?
Yeah, exactly, from June. Yeah. So that's a deep dive into specifically the question of how could we make a router that's Fable intelligence but cheaper than Opus.
Yeah, there's the link to the article in that QR code. But here's the article here. This is what I had up earlier, just trying to figure out like how you even measure that. But it sounds like you have your own benches, and your benches are like respected by Anthropic, which is really cool. But the problem with any like test bench is that the next model is then built to weigh all that test bench, but it maybe is not generally intelligent overall at other things. Yeah. Okay. Let's get into your GitHub here. How green are we looking?
I'm not doing as good as some folks, but yeah.
No, this is great. This is where it should be. You're a father too. You got to be a parent some of the time. It looks like it did like pick up a little bit. I feel like there was this big turning point in November of 2025 where Opus 4.5 really started helping us. I don't know. You could just really rip at that point. And so that's what I look at. I look at like this GitHub chart, but around that time and how it changes. And it looks like you just had some like maybe deeper commits since then. But this is a good looking GitHub. Looks good.
Opus 4.5 was truly a turning point for me, and how I looked at all this stuff.
This is all I got. This weird. There we go. What was the thing that you were saying you were gonna release? Maybe it's not public
called
yet.
It's public. It's under my repositories. It's Lightning Orchestrator.
Yeah, Lightning Orchestrator. Here we go.
Yeah,
nice.
I haven't shared it publicly until I guess now. Like it's public, but I haven't talked about it because I still have a little bit more work to do on it. But it works pretty good. I have some updates I'm going to push that will probably make it good enough for me to kind of like talk about in the next day or so.
And the TLDRs, go ahead.
Yeah, no, exactly like what you're probably going to say. Like you have the base orchestrator is like your currently selected model, and then the subagents use Lightning TLDR.
Okay, cool. And Lightning is your SW 1.7. It's like the fast version of SW 1.7. Is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
It's 1,000 tokens per second. Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot. And it's free to you, but how much does it do? Can I get it on a subscription, or how does it work if I want to get Lightning?
Yeah, if you use Devin, let me see the pricing right now. If you use Devin, the Lightning right now is 2.5. Well, first of all, if you have a subscription, you get like a certain amount of quota for free. If you go over the quota, it's $2.50 per million tokens in and $12.50 per million tokens out, which is about 25% the cost of Fable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And it's like, so it's really fun using like you mentioned Kimi K2. That's one that I like to mess with. DeepSeek, GLM 5.2, even like Minimax. It's so fun to have like, it's so cheap. Like Minimax is like so crazy cheap, like 1,000th of the cost. But then it does just like the dumbest things. But you can put it like in isolation and give it a task, and it's pretty good. And that's
you kind of like route tasks to models based on their capabilities these days, right? So there's certain things that you can just know that you can send it to. Like, I'm not going to use Fable to like ask a question about New Orleans from history that the history books have had, right? So I'll use like a local model for that because, hey, it's free and it's here. But if I need to know something bleeding edge or something new or whatever, then yeah. So I think that's the way people should approach that.
Like I have a stupid question that everybody already knows and I don't know. Local model. Like I've got like a keystroke on my keyboard that I hit and I just start talking and it dumps it to a local model and then the local model responds. And it's so handy for things like that. Like, when do I start watering my lawn in Fort Collins? Like questions like that, right? The local models can handle that for sure.
I don't have a local model running. I need to do that. Okay. So how hard was it to get running on your like Mac or something?
Oh, super easy. I just have like Ollama installed. And then, so I'm on this kick right now of like local models. Like I said, I even have like local models on my phone that I'm using. And it's really easy. You get Ollama, you download some stuff, and I just have Claude Code do it, right? Like, yo, go get me Ollama and get me some local models. But I've been pushing for what SaaS products that I use, that I push all my data to someone else's cloud machine, can I actually like rebuild locally? And the first one is just like a note-taking app, like Granola. Like when I have a lot of meetings and I want to record my notes and have summaries and be able to search that stuff, it took me like an hour in an afternoon, and my local model was okay. So I used Frontier models to build the software to use local models to do Granola, right? But they're fine. Like you can do speech to text, you can do summarizations. So you were talking at the very beginning of the call, you were talking about how your system has like these classifiers that you do some work and then it classifies whether or not it was a PR or a feature. Local models are really good at that kind of thing. Like you could basically have like a simple, dumb local model that can classify stuff super fast for free on top of your Frontier system. And I think that like more people should be doing that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like the privacy is there. You get like even open source models like GLM 5.2 are pretty good. They're not the best, but they're pretty good. I usually get like a chess game going. Oh, you scrunch the screen here. Let me see. Where's our chess app? Usually I get a chess app going and put like GLM
so
against.
Many things here.
It's such a mess. But GLM's pretty good. Like if we play GLM against like Haiku, let's get a game going. We'll throw it down in the corner. Just something fun to watch there.
Yeah, that's cool. No, okay. GLM is good. GLM is really good.
Yeah, like and open source. Like I love the open source models, and they kind of push the space forward. Oh, my chess table is like sloppy. Like the 5th row is compacted. I don't know. Okay, let's see. What else is there? So like Idea Guy Summer is happening right now. Like you can basically build anything. Like you said, you had an idea and you built it in an afternoon. You want to share any of your like Idea Guy ideas that you're shipping these days?
I mean, a lot of it isn't crazy complicated, but if you go to, can I control this? Is this a browser?
You can't control this one, but you can control, there is a browser here. Here we go. We can like multiplayer this browser.
This is a cool app. I'll probably just share open source because it's already open anyway. But like if you are, I'm just gonna full screen it for a little bit. But this is the way it looks.
Do it.
If you're like an event organizer or something, and you are like hosting events that require you to hand out like some type of coupon or credit. Like for us at Cognition, we host a lot of meetups, and when someone attends a meetup, we want to give them a credit. Or maybe if they come to a conference and they come to our booth, we want to give them a credit. But the challenge with this sometimes is like nowadays, like these LLM credits are you almost use like currency. People build systems and apps around them that allow them to kind of I would
be
say
liquid, be resold,
like resell them and all these things.
Yes,
so therefore, it's like an attack vector. It's almost like giving away free money, right? So
we saw that in crypto a lot. That gets attacked.
yeah. It's similar, man, for sure. So like, what is the approach to solving that? Well, the approach is essentially number one, having one-time use codes, and then number two, giving those one-time use codes to the specific people that should have them, and that's it. So this is just a simple system that allows you as an event organizer to upload like a list of credits, and then everyone these days uses Luma, and then with Luma you can export the list of attendees in email. So you upload both of those, and it gives you like a specific URL, and then everyone at your conference can then just go to this URL, and then if they are an attendee, they sign in, and it matches them up with the code, and then it kind of like on the back end will say this code is claimed, so no one else gets suggested it. And then as an event organizer, as the admin of this app, I can add event organizers to this specific event, so they can go in and like make changes and stuff. And this has just been a really nice way to kind of like scale out our credit distribution. This solves like a real problem like within Cognition that we've run into. And like in the past, we tried to give out these redeemable coupons that multiple people could kind of use the same one, but they would get shared with their friends or sold like before the end of the meetup. Like it would happen almost like within 20 or 30 minutes, they're all gone. It's crazy, and there's really, not a great way to understand who is the person that did that. Anyway, it's not our job to go and do all that. So build better systems around it. So this is, I think, good for a lot. Like I've also heard that like Claude, Anthropic, and like Codex have had challenges with this. So this is the type of system, pretty simple, but it works really, really well. And
this is a great example of just like building your own software. Like software is so easy to make right now, but you have to have the mindset of having like this open mind, but also like the agency to go build the thing. And you find a problem, you find oh, I wish we could do that. And it used to be, oh, I wish we could do that. Let's see if we could find some software that does it. It's like, nah, just
this would be like a month-long project in the past, because like it uses a real database, it uses real authentication identity. It's hosted on a real domain name. It has security like issues that need to be reviewed and made sure it all works. But like we actually have and I'm not shilling. I don't want to shill Devin here, but like we have this thing called Security Swarm, which is essentially like hiring a bunch of hackers to kind of like hack into your system.
Like red team.
It's kind of like another layer upon like a review agent. Like you wouldn't run a security swarm on every pull request, but you might have like a release cycle where every week you take like 50 pull requests into a branch, and then you merge that branch in domain, and that's like your new release for the week. What people are doing with Security Swarm is whenever you have like a new release with a bunch of updates, you run like this entire like Security Swarm agents against your new release, and it will literally just try to find every possible angle to hack or to find a vulnerability or any type of issues with your code. And it's kind of like another like layer of security. So, I built this, and then I ran Security Swarm against it, and anyway, it works great. No issues. It's open source. So if anyone wants to have something like this, I've branded this for this URL to say Devin vending machine, but when you but it's just like a flag that I have on the back end. Like when you run this, it'll just say vending machine. There's no Devin branding at all. So
you're saying you could white label
it's white label
that's already up. You could white label it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's completely just non-branded for Devin at all. The live version just says Devin vending machine because we're using it for devinvendingmachine.com. But yeah, so anyway, I built some random stuff like that. I mean, most of my stuff like this is in my GitHub. Let's see here. There was recently, I mean, this isn't even like an actual, I would say, open source project, but like there's this guy who had his entire like home directory deleted because he didn't have a
he has some safeguards. He
didn't have any safeguards in place. So like people don't know that hooks are like hooks are deterministic. Like when you're running a local agent, you can say every single time you're going to make an edit, or I would say every time you're going to call a tool, run this function beforehand. And there's like a function allowed. Yeah. So there's a function called Bashgar that I've open sourced, and it got like 41 stars. People seem to like that. And then like the other one that I have is cloud stacked diffs, and it's essentially a skill that allows you to turn. a like list of requirements into stacked PRs, which is pretty nice because like a lot of people have this requirement, in their software development lifecycle already. This just adds a skill that allows you to kind of like kick off a single agent, and that agent will run through a list of requirements and stack the diffs or stack the PRs on top of each other. And this allows you to kind of like have 10 features that you want to ship and then run them all at once with a single command. And it also works really well with linear, and it'll actually, if you have linear MCP, it'll actually take the linear tickets and move them from backlog to in progress to done, all this stuff, and even works with review agents. So anyway, just if you look at my GitHub, you'll see a bunch of random shit like that.
That's it. Like you out there, the sloperators in the world that are watching, like you should be building a bunch of random shit, but like useful shit, right? Like don't be token maxing, don't be just like outputting apps left and right that no one uses. Like be building the things that you need to use for yourself, be building things that other people need to use, be measuring that, like are people actually using them, get feedback, iterate on it. But it is literally idea guy summer, and you can take an idea and implement it in an afternoon. You were talking about the website. Basically having a website is like the most work. Like going to register a domain, I created $1 audit the other day, and I already had like the whole agentic pipeline here. Like you can actually hire my agent to research, audit, or build something. Cool. Right here, and it uses USDC and X402 and everything. But I wanted to make a website that like memed this whole like you can actually get an audit for $1, and like it took me longer to register the domain, set up the DNS, like a handful of things that are still like not automated in my pipeline than did just like to make a whole website and have the whole thing ready to go. Like this website was like one shot with Fable.
Dang,
and it's done. And like you can connect a wallet. Like this is going to bring up like a whole like sign with your wallet and everything. So yes, like the process of sometimes registering the domain or setting up the DNS is the longest part.
Yep.
How'd our chess game go here? I don't know. Oh, looks like Haiku won. GLM resigned at some point. I don't know what happened there. Maybe it got confused. It's too bad. Cool, man. All right, let's close it out. Like, what's your superpower? Do you have a superpower in terms of building an AI and all that?
I think my superpower is being like a generalist at a bunch of things that I'm pretty good at, but I'm not excellent at anything.
You're a mixture of experts.
Yeah, I'm kind of a mixture of a bunch of things that I'm not like the best at in the world at anything, but I'm pretty good at a bunch of things, and combined together that makes me a superpower of something. I don't know. So
that's great. I like that. I like that a lot. And then let's see, what is another the efficiency versus the effective, agentic commerce. Let's bring in a little bit of crypto here. Gotta get a little bit of crypto going here.
Nice.
That's
so cool.
What do you think of agentic commerce? What do you think of 8004, X402? Do you fuck with any of it still? Like, are you using USDC to pay for anything?
Oh yeah, I'm still definitely using it. USDC, I would say, I feel like that's still the optimal way to send money, like cross-border, especially, and just generally to make payments. It just is the most efficient way. I mean, like I'm still dealing with, like at Cognition, I have vendors that we work with that need payments, and the whole process, like going from like crypto to just sending a USDC in a single transaction to an address and it being done and over with, compared to like what we do, is still like night and day. You have to coordinate with banks around the world, with Swift and all these different types of payment systems. It's kind of like a nightmare, when you kind of like go back to doing that relative to just USDC payment. I think X402 is obviously the most, or something along the lines of like direct agent to agent payments with crypto. It seems to be the most obvious way that payments will ultimately be done permissionlessly, across different apps and companies. Because even if you think that you can build like a sophisticated like credit card type of system, there's still so much fraud and stuff that can kind of like happen that is essentially removed if you have an agent that has access to your private key and you're the only one that has control over that. Also, just the permissionless nature of like just taking money from my account and sending it to your account, and like that's all you need. It just seems to be like orders of magnitude better than anything else. I think.
Are you still writing any smart contracts? Oh no! Wait. Let's do that first.
Yeah, what we haven't really seen is like an inflection point of like an application or a use case that is doing that at scale, that is well adopted, that like everyone is using, that everyone knows about. Like what is that killer app, I guess, going to be, or
I think
whatever?
Agents are going to be the user. I think that like we maybe never have humans using crypto at scale. It will be humans telling agents to do things and agents using crypto at scale.
So I mean, I think that's going to be so like who's going to be, or what are the two apps that are going to be working together to make that happen? Because you have to have a payment and a payer and a receiver. So like, what is that first massive uptick in usage going to look like? I think what you saw with that first uptick in X402 usage was like meme coin trading, and like it was bullshit kind of. So like, like who is the vendor and who is the customer? Like, what is that first combo going to be? I believe it'll be something like an open router style, like you know, LLM provider, but who knows? So
like even agentic jobs, like with ERC 8004, you have a very generalized agent, but if you need a very specialized job to get done, you could go hire that agent to go do that thing. Or just like back to the efficiency versus effective, like, yes, my generalized agent could generate an image right now, but it's going to cost 10x to 100x more than if I dump it to an agent who's like built to do that and specialized to generate that image. So I think maybe there's some agent to agent commerce that could happen. But boy, I'm optimistic and dreaming, and we're really not seeing the demand side yet. So we'll see how that goes. But thank you so much, Nader, for being here. Any closing thoughts? Anything for the sloperators out there?
Not really. I would say thanks for having me on. I would say check out some of the stuff that EigenLabs is doing. That's the last team I was working with. They're building out something called Dark Bloom, which is pretty cool, which is essentially a way to run software on your idle Mac that allows other people to run inference, and you make money and they get cheap inference. It's pretty cool. I think they have the team and the potential to kind of like make this work. So that's pretty cool. I would definitely check them out.
I have, is it Gajesh? I don't know how to say his name. I've been bugging him, like, come on and show off Dark Bloom, but I think he's like,
for real? Like, yeah, he should totally come on. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I've been bugging him. It takes a while sometimes to get people on, but I will. All right, man. Cool. Thank you so much for being on. Have a good day, Nader, man. Thank you for coming on the Slop.Computer. It's been good. We'll cut you in 6 months when everything changes again. Yeah,
for sure.
All right.
See ya.